Hi, everybody. I'm getting the light here. Welcome to Tuesday Yoga for SunWater Spa. I'll just give it a couple seconds for people to get online, get ready for practice tonight. Good. So just an FYI, I'm getting messages that we have an internet outage in my area. So I apologize if this cuts out. If it does, I'll record something and stick it up there later. But just so you know that I guess there's so many people on the internet right now. We're starting to get lots of outages. Hi, everybody. Thanks for all the little hearts and the welcome to let me know that you're here. All right, so we're going to practice tonight. Do a kind of a full spectrum flow. Maybe do some twisting, maybe some back bends. We'll see what comes up. As always, this is your class, so you just take it to wherever you want to tonight. If you're feeling really tired, it's always okay to back off, take a more easier pose, take more rest in between. If you're feeling like, oh, I've got lots of energy, I got to get out tonight, then feel free to bump up your practice. But as always, listen to your body. Let this be your practice. I know you hear that a lot, but really, that's what it's about. I just wanted to begin with, I don't know if you've all seen the movie. It's an older movie, but Dead Poets Society. I was thinking about that today, that there's a scene in the movie from Dead Poets Society where Robin Williams' character, he plays a school teacher, and he's with a group of young boys, and he wants them to see things differently. So he invites them to stand on their chair and then to look around and see how different the world looks. So tonight, maybe let's just use that as our focus. When we are in our different poses, how does the world look different? When we look through the lens of yoga, how does the world look different? So how does this perhaps change our perspective through our practice? All right, let's get started. I'm gonna come back to my mat, put some music on. Maybe. All right, so let's take a comfortable seat. Close your eyes. Just come into your seated posture. I just want to check my messages, make sure everybody's okay. So sit nice and tall. Draw a breath in and out. And just find your seated posture. And then bring your hands to your heart. Pausing just for a moment, do a quick check-in. Perhaps even asking yourself, where do you need a change of perspective? Where do you need to look at things differently? Whether it's in your personal relationships, whether it's looking at yourself, your own body image, or perhaps where you work. Just where do you need a change in your perspective, a different way of looking at something? And let's interlace our fingers, draw our arms up, take a big stretch high. So sit heavy in your hips, stay heavy, and lean over to your right side. You're going to lift your left hand a little bit higher, pull your ribs into your body, stretch over. Let's come back up to the center, other side. Sit heavy in your hips, stretch it up and over. Ooh, feel my back crack the whole way down and then release and come up. Good. Roll your shoulders. And then open up so the soles of your feet come together. Take your hands onto your shins. Inhale, lift your chest, open your throat. And then pull the lowest part of your belly in, round your back behind yourself. Pull your chin into your chest. And with an inhale, pull through again. Lift and open your chest. And then round back behind yourself again, chin into your chest. And then sit nice and tall. Bring your hands to your knees. Just take a few spins around. Get into your hips, into your waist. Get your shoulders involved. And let's switch directions. Take yourself around the other way. Get your rib cage to move. And then coming into the center, drop your shoulders down, tilt your head to the right, lift your chin slightly. And then drop your chin straight down forward. And then over to the other side. Left ear over left shoulder. Lift your chin slightly. Good, and then back into the center. Nice. Let's come over onto hands and knees. Find tabletop. And so taking your wrists just slightly in front of your shoulders. Take your knees under your hips. Pull your belly up. Find cat pose. Let your head come between your arms. You're going to push your hands down into the ground. Good. Stay in your cat pose. Turn your toes under. Lift your knees about an inch off the floor. So you hover here in floating table. So keep lifting your spine, pulling your belly up and in. Engaging your core. Good. Now go ahead and straighten your legs as much as you comfortably can. Back into downward facing dog. Once you get there, explore the pose. Bend one knee, bend the other knee. Stretching your heels towards the ground. Good. Now sway your hips side to side. Make it big, exaggerated movement. And then roll up onto your toes. Roll your heels back down. Roll up onto your toes. Roll the heels down. Now roll up onto the toes. Push yourself forward. Find your plank pose. So shoulders in front of your wrists. Pull your belly up. Too much? Knees are on the ground. Otherwise, really engage your core. Reach the crown of your head forward and your heels out behind you. Good. Right knee's going to come down onto the ground. You're going to shift to the right side and take a modified side plank. Left arm lifts up and you open up, stretch. Good. So let's reach it over the top of our head. Find some more length. So kind of rainbow your body. Lift your hips up. Take a big side stretch. Good. And then come back into your plank pose. One long line, so top of your head reaches forward, heels back, belly engaged. And then take the left knee down, shift over onto the left side, reach the arm up, and then come on over. Find that rainbow again. Really stretch open the whole right side of your body. And then coming back into plank. Go ahead and lower yourself all the way onto your belly. Untuck your toes, legs squeeze together. Now lift your shoulders up to your ears and then continue to lift and round them back so it rolls your chest up for Bhujangasana, Cobra. Gently hug your elbows in. Feel your chest extend forward and then squeeze your legs together. So remember you're a snake, Bhujangasana, Cobra. So no feet, no legs, one long tail. And then release. Come on back down, head relaxes. Let's do one more cobra. So really engage your lower legs. Squeeze them together. roll your belly up inside. So you're like lifting the low belly towards your spine. So you feel super engaged in your legs. Legs are squeezed together. Your toes are pointing, bringing maybe your heels together. And then soften. Good. Use your hands to push through child's pose. Roll through your body. Bring your hips back to your heels. Just pause for a moment here. Can you really fill the whole back side of your body with breath? So feel the back parts of your lungs. Feel into your hips. And then rolling yourself back up into your table, turn your toes and come into downward facing dog. Big stretch towards the ceiling. So spread your fingers wide. Take a look at your hands. You want your pointer fingers to point to the top of the mat, and just like you're trying to pinch between your pointing finger and your thumbs. And now press all the other finger pads into the ground. So I like to call it kitty cat claws, but you're clawing the ground. Takes a little bit of the weight out of your wrist. Good. And then speaking of wrist, from your wrist, exteriorly rotate your arms, so away from each other. Rotate your arms and then feel how your shoulder blades come onto your back. Press the hands into the ground and then pull your two bottom ribs up into your body. Now gently reach your heels towards the floor. They don't have to touch. In fact, I like a little space underneath my heels. Good. Now take as many steps as you need to walk your feet to the top of your mat. Fold your arms at your elbows and take a forward fold. Just let go. Hang over. Shift the weight forward in your feet. Lift your heels just slightly up. So feel some length from the very top of your hamstrings all the way down to your heels. And now come into halfway lift, fingertips on your shin, reach the crown of your head forwards. You're looking straight down at the ground, but you feel the very top of your head is extending straight out, and your tailbone is out behind you. So there's a sense of widening in your hips. So your upper inner thighs go back and apart. And then fold down to the ground. Place your hands on the floor, take 2 steps back. Downward facing dog. Shift forward, plank pose. Exhale, lower yourself down. Squeeze your legs together. Inhale, find your cobra. Exhale, lower your chest down to the ground. Push off the floor, child's pose. Let's take that one last time. Just roll through. Just knowing that this is always an option available to you. At any point that practice is too much for you tonight, you can come into your child's pose. And then we'll lift up, downward facing dog. So I have my little yogi partner here. Something about yoga, he likes to come participate, or at least check it out. All right. Let's walk our feet to the top of the mat. Take a halfway lift to reach the crown of your head forward. Exhale, fold. Now soften your knees a lot. So bend them. Good. Now we're going to sway your arms all the way over to the right side. And sway your arms all the way over to the left side. Let's do that again. Bring the arms all the way over to the right. Gently twisting, and all the way over to the left, gently twisting. Back into the center, and then roll yourself up. Reach your arms, stretch tall. Good, keep your knees soft. You're going to fall gently over to the right side, making it into a full circle, and then coming up on left. And let's go the other direction. So fall over on the left. Reach the arms to the right and lift. One more each side. Here we go. Drop it down. And then we'll do the other side. Big wave. Stay up. Find some cactus arms. Open your chest. Knees soft. And then reach up, inhaling. Exhale, fold. Fingers to the floor. Halfway lift, inhale. Good. Plant those hands on the ground. Come back into your plank pose. Exhale, lower down to the ground. Inhale, lift up for your cobra. Exhale, lower your chest. Push off the ground, downward facing dog. Stretch back. Good. Inhale, up on your toes. Bend your knees. Take as many steps as you need to walk your feet to the top of your mat. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Rise with your breath. Come all the way up. Inhale. Hands to your heart. Exhale. Inhale, sweep up. Big breath. Exhale, fold to the floor. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands on the ground. Come back to your plank pose. Exhale to the floor, or if you like, chaturanga. Keep your shoulders higher than your elbows if you're taking chaturanga though. Push forward and up. Upward dog or cobra. What's the difference? Cobra, your legs are on the ground. Upward dog, your legs are off the ground. Arms are not locked though. Keep those elbows bent. Roll through your body. Downward dog. Take a couple of deep breaths here. Maybe even open your mouth. Sigh out your day. Starting to feel the energy build in your body. Take an inhale up on your toes. Bend your knees. Either lots of little steps or take 2 big steps to the top of your mat. Halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Rise with your breath. Come all the way up. Inhale. Hands to your heart. Let's do that again. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up. Hands on the ground. Come back to your plank pose. Exhale, lower. Inhale, heart comes up. Exhale, back, downward dog. Inhale, up on your toes. Bend your knees. Lots of little steps, 2 big steps, or perhaps a hop to the top of your mat. Halfway lift. Fold. Rise with your breath. Come all the way up. Hands to your heart. We're going to take 2 more rounds. Surya Namaskar A. Here we go. Inhale, up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands on the ground. Come back to your plank pose. Exhale and lower. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhaling, downward dog. Inhale, up on the toes. Bend the knees. Hop, step, or walk your feet. Halfway lift. Hands on the ground as you fold. Rise up, inhale. Exhale, hands to your heart. One more time, big breath, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Come on back. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale the breath all the way from your body. Top of the mat. Inhale. Exhale. Rise all the way up. Hands to your heart. Close your eyes. Do a quick check-in. Just noticing how you're feeling after moving a few times. All right. So that was Surya Namaskar A. We're going to move more into Vinyasa, kind of more free flow. Have a little fun tonight. Reach the arms, stretch tall. Exhale and fold. Halfway, left inhale. Hands on the ground, back to your plank pose. Exhale, lower. Inhale, push your heart up, elbows soft. Downward dog. Here's where we play. Right leg lifts. Bend the knee, and you're gonna step. So while you're stepping, I want you to really find your cat pose. So you're creating as much space as you can to glide that leg as close to your right thumb as you can go. Inhale, leave your back heel up, rise up. Exhale, find your cactus arms. Open your chest. Bring your shoulder blades together. Inhale, lift. Bring your hands to your heart. Good, now find your cat pose again. So ribs back. Take your left elbow across the top. Now if you find that's too much of a twist for you, this is always a great viable option to do. Otherwise, you're gonna hook elbow to the outside of the knee. Inhale, lengthen in your pose. So push from that top hand. Keep drawing your right hip back. Lengthen the top of your head and your back heel. So you feel one long line of energy. Good. Inhale, back up into your crescent pose. Exhale, taking your hands to the ground. All right leg is in front. So we're going to sweep that leg back, stacking it on top of the left. Maybe you're going to put your knee down, just like we did earlier, or keep the leg up, rotate over. You can stack or stagger your feet. Inhale, find your Vasisthasana, one arm balance. Quickly look down, make sure that your shoulder is slightly behind your wrist. Really lifting your hips up. Inhale a breath. Exhale, hand to the floor. Lower through your vinyasa. So maybe it's chaturanga, maybe it's the floor. Upward dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Roll back. Inhale, top of your toes. Bend your knees. Hop, step, float your feet to the mat, top of the mat. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Rise with your breath. Come all the way up. Good. Now sweep the floor. So you're going to exhale, brush your fingers on the ground. Inhale, lift up. Let's do that 2 more times. Exhale. Inhale. 1 more time. Let your day go. Exhale. Inhale. Fold to the ground all the way down. Halfway lift. Hands on the ground. Step back to your plank pose. Exhale, either chaturanga or the floor. Upward dog or a cobra, elbow soft. Downward facing dog. Roll back. Left leg reaches up. Inhale, stretch. Good. Start to find your cat pose. Pull your ribs in. Shift your shoulders forward. Bend the left knee. Step by your left hand. Leave your right heel up. Hug your legs towards each other. Find stability. Rise up into crescent. Open your chest. Inhale, lift. Good. Exhale, taking a twist. So again, you're here, or you're going to drum all the way across into your twists. Notice the tendency we try to drop that right hip. So lift your right hip, engage your belly, twist. Good. Come on, back up into your crescent. Hands to the floor. Left leg is in front, so let's bring it back. Stack it on top. Remember, you can put your right knee down. Lifting up for your one arm Vasisthasana balance. Hold it right here. Breathe. Inhale a breath. Exhale, hand to the ground. Move through your vinyasa. Bend your elbows. Chaturanga or the floor. Upward dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Roll through your body. Inhale up on your toes. Bend your knees. Walk, step, or hop your feet. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Rise all the way up. Good. Brush the floor 3 times. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. One more time. Exhale. Inhale up. And then hands to the ground. Halfway lift. Place the hands on the floor. Come back into your plank pose. Exhale, lower. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Right leg lifts, inhale. Exhale, step between your right hand. Rise up into crescent. Open your chest. Inhale, lift. Ribs back, twist. Remember to verify. Change that if it's a little easier to stay up. Inhale, reach back up into crescent. Exhale, hands to the ground. Right foot stacks on top of the left. One arm balance. And then hands down. Move through your vinyasa. Remember, you can skip that and go right into child's pose. All right, stay here. Left leg lifted up. Step between your hands. Rise up into your crescent. Heart opens. Inhale, lift. Move to the twist, ribs back. Create space to take a deep twist. Inhale in your pose. Exhale, hands to the floor. Left leg stacks on top of the right. Inhale, open up. Exhale, move through your vinyasa. Downward dog. Stay right here, downward dog. Breathe. All right, downward dog, you're upside down. Maybe take a look at your legs. See if you can see the insides of your heels. And if you can you just rotate your feet slightly out? So again, so you feel like your upper inner thighs are broadening, reaching your hips back, ribs up into your body. Good. How is this perspective different? How is looking at the world upside down like this? How does this change your perspective? We don't do this very often. We don't go upside down a lot. Of course, yoga requires that we do that a lot, but if we weren't doing yoga, would we go upside down? Use your toes, push forward, plank pose. Lower through chaturanga, upward dog or cobra. Hold it right here. I want you to open your heart. Too much to stay in upward dog? Come on down. If you've got the arm strength, you can stay up here. Just keep your elbows soft. Open your chest. So you're spinning your arms away from each other here. Engage your low belly. So bring your mind to the lowest part of your belly. Pull it up strong. And then continue to lift and let yourself roll, maybe even over your toes, back into downward dog. Stretch back. Right leg lifts to the ceiling. Stretch it up. Pull your ribs up, step. Right foot to the outside of your right thumb. Inhale, lift up into your crescent. Good, ribs back. Let's bring the hands behind, just for a little different heart opener. Draw your hands down, open your chest. Good, keeping your chin in a neutral place, so don't throw your head back. Imagine you're holding something under your chin. Grapefruit, orange, ball, whatever, but something neutral under your chin. Good. Release the hands. Inhale, lift. Open into warrior two. So back heel comes down, front knee bends. You're like you're splitting the air. Drop into it. All right, you're on a big surfboard here, so use your feet to hold on. Hug your feet in. Full breath. Inhale. You're going to reach forward and tip into side angle pose. So you might rest your right arm on top of your leg, or you might take your hand to the floor. Tuck right hip underneath your leg, underneath your body, sorry. Hips under. Start to roll your belly and chest up towards the ceiling. Good. Inhale, rise back up into your warrior two. Exhale, hands to the floor. Find your downward facing dog. Stretch back, hips up. Left leg reaches up to the sky. Bend the left knee, starting to shift forward, ribs up, step right between your hands. Do your best. Rise up into crescent. Good. Bring your hands behind your back. Option, interlace your fingers. Or reverse prayer. So you're making prayer pose right in between your shoulder blades. Both are good poses. Pick one that you like, one that feels good in your wrist and in your shoulders. This is a lot in the wrist, I find. So my chest is extending forward, but I want to try to pull my belly and ribs in. And when I do that, I can feel my right hip flexors open more. Lift your chest and start to open back. Breathe. Maybe bend that front knee a little more. Find deeper pose. Good. Inhale. Release. Open yourself into warrior two. So sideways. Again, you're on that surfboard. Hug your feet in. Ribs in. Full breath here. And then tip. Maybe arm rests. It's a great place to be. Okay? Maybe you reach the arm over. Maybe hand comes to the floor. What feels good for you tonight? What's going to take you to your edge? So I like to describe the edges like if you were standing on a really tall building, you're on the roof, and you came up to the edge. You literally put your toes on the roof's edge. Your toes are hanging off. But you're still safe. You're still on the roof. You haven't jumped off the roof. So think of that in your yoga pose. Talk about perspective. How different does the world look when we're standing with our toes at the edge of the roof, looking out? Good. Reach it up. Inhale. Windmill your hands to the floor. Downward facing dog. Shift forward. Plank pose. All right. Option. Knees down, or option knees up. You know we're doing push-ups. Here we go. Elbows in. So let's work our triceps. So we're going to drop down to chaturanga, push back up. Knees down is an option. Keep your elbows hugging in and lift. Come on, keep going. How many can we do? I'm not sure. Let's see. Are you still with me? I can't see you. I hope you are. Let's come on, a few more. We can do it. One more. That's all I got. One more. Drop it down. Push it up. Knees down. Child's pose. Woo, flip your palms up. Nice. Let's lift up. Right foot steps up between your hands. Turn your left toes under for balance. Hug your legs towards each other. Maybe hands stay right here. Maybe arms are going to lift up. Wherever you are, pull those ribs back. So you can align your shoulders right over your hip, right over that bottom knee. Hug everything in tight. All right, to work the back bend in this, let's do just like we did earlier. Release your hands behind your back, or take a reverse namaste. Lift the chest, start to open the throat, reach back, breathe. Inhale and release. Bring your hands to the ground. And let's twist in this pose. So left hand stays on the floor. Right arm lifts up and we twist. Option, grab the back foot. If it's too much in your knee or even too much in your quad, this is great. But if it's easy for you to grab hold of that foot and you can gently start to work the heel towards your hip, that's fine. Starting to turn your chest up, open, feel the big stretch. And then releasing out of your pose. Go ahead and lay this leg on the ground. Find your resting pigeon. So keep your toes turned under on your left foot. You're going to stretch your left heel back. That's going to give you a little more stretch in the leg. Keeping the leg engaged, you can lower it back to the ground. Walk your hands out and find pigeon. We're not going to stay here too long, but let's open the hip. Connecting with your breath. And again, just reminding yourself of our focus tonight. How does this pose open your hips? And how does opening your hip change your outlook, if you will? Imagine if you never did this pose, how different would you feel? What's the benefit of this pose to you? Breathe. And then lifting yourself up, downward facing dog. Stretch back. Hips sway side to side. Now let's lift the left leg up to the sky. Shift forward and step right between your hands. Let your back knee come down. Leave your heel turned under. And we'll lift up for our lunge on this side. Hands can stay right here. Ribs back, shoulders back. Again, I'm nice and tall. Shoulders, hips, knee in one alignment. If I need to, scoot the foot a little closer in. But everything hugs in. So this solid foundation in our legs, hips squared, working in, that's going to allow you to do some more back bending. So again, you can reach the hands behind your back and open, or take your reverse namaste, or maybe even just take those cactus arms if that feels a little better for you. Ribs working in, heart lifts, shoulder blades together on your back. Start to arch in this pose. Inhale a breath, and on your exhale, release. Coming forward, we're going to twist. So I'm going to walk my knee a little bit further back so I have some more space. Right hand on the ground, left arm lifts. You can stay right here if this stretch is feeling awesome in your body. If you want to add the stretch on your quad, reach back, grab the foot, and work the heel towards your hip. Good. So I don't know if you can see or not in this video, but your right knee is not pushing straight down on the ground. I'm actually slightly forward, more on the meaty part. So it's not bone on the ground. And then release back to center. Go ahead and lay your left leg down for your pigeon stretch. Walk your right leg back. Reach the heel back to get the stretch. And then soften your leg to the floor. Walk out to anywhere that feels comfortable for you, finding your pigeon. Surrender in this pose. Take a momentary pause. There will be more. That's what's kind of cool about yoga. There's always these little pauses where you can catch your breath. And then lifting yourself up. Find downward facing dog, or if you prefer, child's pose. And then walk your feet to the top of your mat. Bring your big toes together and your heels open slightly. Wrap your arms around your legs and you're going to give yourself a hug. Yeah, we haven't done that very much lately. Hugging others, definitely, but maybe even just hugging ourselves. So pull yourself in, lift your tailbone. If you need to bend your knees a lot, that is totally fine.
In this pose, can you bring focus to your outer glute muscles, your outer hips? Imagine like you're squeezing in towards your tailbone here. Good, and then soften your knees, relax your arms to the ground. Inhale, roll yourself up. Come all the way up to the top, stretch tall. Hands to your heart. Pause. All right, let's do dancer's pose. So you're going to put all of the weight into your left foot. Kicking the right foot up. See if you can grab hold. So I always say grab on the inside of your foot because that allows your shoulder to rotate and lift. So find dancer's pose. I'm trying this way so I can interact with you a little bit. All right, the other arm, it can be anywhere you need for balance, okay? Now, I notice when I grab my foot, my whole chest and shoulder reaches back to do that. So once I get my foot, I want to find alignment. I want to bring my right shoulder forward, right ribs forward, try to square my hips to the front. Good, now that I'm square, start to kick into the foot. So right foot starts to lift, keep squaring your chest to the front. And again, left hand wherever you want for balance. Finding your pose. Find your bravery right here. Find your courage to really kick your foot up. And then how does standing on one foot change your perspective? How does it challenge your balance? And then release out of your pose. Step your feet wider than your hips and come down into yoga squat. If your knees bother you, just come about halfway. If you can comfortably come all the way down into that yogi squat. Press your palms together, lift your heart, and work your tailbone down. All right, for a little more work, let's reach those arms up. Good. Count of 3, we're going to rise. 1, 2, 3, push to the feet, rise up. Step your feet together, hands to your heart, pause. Other side, dancer's pose, grab your left foot. It wouldn't be a class if I didn't get tongue-tied, right? So take the knee down, hips forward, chest and shoulder forward. Find square to the front. Now, kick into your hand and start to lift that leg up. So let's not forget about our support leg. We want the leg straight, but I don't want you to lock that knee so much that all you're feeling is your knee working. So a little softness around that joint. And then lift. Be brave, be courageous. How high can you go? What's the worst? You fall out of this pose. Oh well, nobody can see you, so who cares, right? So take it, go for it. Lift that foot up. Keep working your chest to the front. And release. Hands to your heart. Pause. All right, let's add that move, the dancer's pose. Let's add that into our half moon balance. So I'm just going to step wide, but you're going to take your right foot forward and step your left foot back. I'm just going to stay wide so I can face you all. So you're going to turn your right toes out. Look at this knee. You want this knee to track with your toes. So often, again, I see this knee kind of falls in or rotates too far out. So right in line with your big and little toe when you bend. Back leg from the top of your hip rotates in and your heels further back. We're going to start off with side angle pose first. So extend your arms out. Take an inhale and you're going to tilt. We've already done this once tonight, so it should feel familiar. Tuck your right hip underneath you. Good. You are welcome to stay right here in this pose. It's an awesome pose. So stay here. Or if you want to play with the balance, we're going to just take our left hand to your hip for balance sake. toe heel your foot a little closer in. Reach your right hand to the floor. Now, if you don't have a block and you need something to put your hand on, find a book. Find anything that you can prop your hand on. You could even use, these aren't real candles. I know that's shocking to you all, but water bottle, whatever, so you can put your hand on it. So you're going to shift forward. Take your time. Don't throw the weight forward. Try to press into it. Finding your half moon balance. So my right hand is below my right shoulder for balance. So it's a little bit out to the right of my little toe. Now I'm going to engage this top leg. Reach the heel. Flex your foot. And then work on tipping your hip back. So you feel like you're stacking your hips on top of each other. Don't worry about turning your head up at this point. Unless you do this pose all the time, it can throw your balance off. So just gaze at something that's going to help you feel secure, help you balance. Now, if you want to add that little extra piece that we did earlier, our dancer pose, you're going to bend your top knee. Reach back, find your foot. It's there, I promise. Sometimes it feels like, where is it? Once you get a hold, alignment. Knee drops down, even with the hip. And then kick your foot behind you. Whoop, I'm gonna fall. Like you're making the letter C out of your body. Good, so I know you got challenges where I'm on carpet, so it's not quite the nice secure wood floor, so you might have that same issue. Good, release. Bend your right knee. And lift back up into warrior two. All right, so step to the top of your mat, switch feet. I'm just going to rotate around. Warrior two, left leg bends, extending out. Good, moving into side angle pose. Maybe staying here in this pose, or maybe moving on into your half moon. Left hand down to the ground, slightly out to the left of my left foot. Press the right leg up. Remember to work that leg, reach the heel. Half moon, or maybe add the variation, bending the top leg, reach back. Find your foot, drop your knee down, and then flex your foot. Flex your right foot. Now press the sole of your right foot back behind you as you rotate your chest up towards the ceiling. Again, like you're making the letter C with your body. And then soften, relax everything. Bend your front knee. Come on back down into your warrior two. Nice. Wherever you are, step your feet wide. Turn your toes in and then fold down. Grab hold of your ankles. Gently pull yourself down. Good place to shake your head gently, yes. Turn it, no. And then fingers on the ground. Just play with shifting side to side. Then walk your hands to the top of your mat. Come back into your downward facing dog. All right, let's play with one more hip opener. Lift the right leg up. Bend your knee. Find your scorpion pose. And then a variation of our Vashisthasana. We're going to drop that leg through. Shoot your right leg over to the left. Roll to the inside of your left foot. Stay here or reach the arm up for fallen star. Good, and then hand comes back down. Lift the left leg, reach it up, bend the left knee, find your scorpion. Just opening through your hip. And then squaring the hip, taking the left knee down through the middle of your body, shoot the leg over to the right, shift on to the left hand, fallen star. And release. Come back into downward dog, knees down onto the ground, and child's pose. Catch your breath. Pause right there. Check my time. Okay, good. Awesome. So I have a friend who's been working on headstand, so I said I'd give a few pointers tonight. If headstand is not part of your practice already, no need to start right now. I'll give you a nice, safe modification that you can stay in that. I would say it's probably one of the most challenging poses. It was the last pose, if you will, that I could really do. I had the hardest time doing headstand. So it's an intimidating pose. Don't feel like you have to master the pose by any means tonight. But I wanted to give you a couple of safety things if you're working on this pose at home. First of all, you could work up against a wall so that you've got some space. Always look around and make sure that you've got nothing that you would fall into. Like for me to do it in front of this fireplace, if I wasn't pretty sure in the pose, wouldn't be very safe. So make sure you've got plenty of space. You can use a wall for support if you like. Otherwise, we'll just give you a couple modifications, some things to play with if you're wanting to work into your Shirshasana, your headstand. Headstand is really a misnomer because we feel like we need to be all the weight on the top of our head, and that's not the case. Probably the most common thing I see is people are too far forward on their forehead, which causes their neck to buckle. So we want to be on the top of our head, but not putting weight on the top of our head. Okay? I'm going to go this way. So hands, lots of different options. I like to interlace my fingers and then tuck my pinky fingers underneath. Remember when you were a kid and you played that little church game with your fingers? Same thing, pinkies underneath, so that way you don't have something to roll on. And I use my thumbs to just hold the back of my head. So if you want to watch, if you're not familiar, if you know how to do this already, go right ahead, obviously. But if you're here, I'm going to slide up and I use my thumbs to hold my head. So when you're doing anything on your head like that, you never want to turn your head, and you also want lots of stability here in your neck. So to play with this pose, a nice safe way to come into it is to find downward dog legs. It's a great place to start. Now often we collapse in our shoulders, so you want to push your forearms into the ground to really get that extension, feel strong. And again, while my head is on the ground, the weight is really in my arms. And then once I get here, I can start working my toes closer, bending one leg, bringing my foot to the heel, doing the other side. But I'm keeping my chin extended away from my chest. Good. Practice this till you feel super secure. There's no reason to try to go past here if you don't feel secure. If you don't feel like your neck is stable, you don't feel like you're strong enough to go in the pose, there's no reason to move forward. Stay here until you can walk your feet in enough that you can start to float. So you should have enough control that you're not having to kick at all. Kicking, flailing your legs up in the air is a huge no-no. Because when you do that, your neck is moving around, and that's how you'll injure your neck. So don't kick at all. You want to have control enough that you can press into your pose. So again, nice, safe, easy way to start. I get so far, my toes are almost off the ground here. In fact, I could pull them off the ground without having to kick. Once you get here, then it's nothing really. It's like a no-brainer just to lift the leg up. So the hardest part is to get from the floor up. Use your core to start to press up. And again, it may not happen tonight. It takes practice. So don't beat yourself up like I can't do this pose. Continue to practice, continue to feel secure, walking your feet in so that you can float them off the floor. Those of you who have headstand and you're in it, stay there for a moment or two longer. Otherwise, come on down to child's pose and relax. So let's come onto our back. So walk yourself forward onto your mat. Bring your knees in. Rock side to side. And let the feet come down onto the ground. Cross your right leg over. And then lift the left knee up. You can reach to that hole. Gently hug the back of your thigh or bend your knee and reach around to the front of your shin. We've already done pigeon, so we won't stay here too long. Just give yourself a little hug. And then let's do the other side. Cross the leg over the front of the thigh. Reach either through that hole or around to the front. And then release. Bring the soles of your feet together. Hug in. Lift both feet up to the ceiling. So you have an option to stay right here. If you'd like to lift your hips up into your hands, start to work towards your shoulder stand. Keeping your chin off your chest. You can stay right here, or if you want to work your legs up, or maybe reach one leg over. When you're ready, roll down out of your pose. Take the soles of your feet together and your knees wide, relaxing in Supta Baddha Konasana. And then let's bring both feet back up to the ceiling. Take your arms out from your shoulders like the letter T, so palms can face up. Go ahead and flex your feet, and it's totally fine to bend your knees. Good. Now you're going to pick your hips up off the floor and move them to the right so that you're not centered any longer. Now engage your belly, so pull it in towards your spine. Slowly let your feet fall to the left. So you're aiming for your feet to land in your left hand. And you're like maybe halfway, like I can't do it. Bend your knees and drop down. I'll squish my microphone, sorry. Once you get to the floor, let everything go. And then bring your legs back up to the center. Lift your feet up. Pick your hips and move them way over to the left side. And then slow, aim for your feet to land in the palm of your right hand. May not happen. You might stop halfway and bend your knees. That's fine. If you can let your feet land in your hands, go for it. And relax your hips, sending your top hip away from you. And bending your knees, come back in through the center. Pick your hips up, move them back so that you are lined up and square. Let's take fish pose. So we're going to take our hands underneath our hips. You're going to roll over and slide your hand underneath, like you're actually going to sit on your hand, palms to the floor, and then do that on the other side. So bring your hands close together, and then shimmy your shoulder blades and your elbows towards each other. You can do lots of variations with the legs. I think it feels nice to do Supta Baddha Konasana, so knees can open wide. You can also just leave your knees up or extend them out. All right, so my hands are facing the floor, palms are on the ground, bending your elbows, lift your chest up. So I am sitting on my hands right here. Really lift your chest, like there's a string pulling you up. Shoulder blades come together. Now reach your head back. Now, for most of us, our head does not touch the floor here, so you need to lower yourself back down so your head comes to the ground. Then reach your chin away from you, and then soften your body. This is an awesome pose, heart-opening pose. And then from here, we'll move into Shavasana. So you're going to push your elbows into the ground to lift your head, tuck your chin towards your chest, and lower yourself down. Release your hands out, turn your palms up. You can leave your legs how they are, or you can extend them out for your Shavasana. Close your eyes and come into your final pose, your resting pose. Make sure I got enough background music here. So you've made it through your practice. Take a quick full body scan. See how you're feeling. See how the energy has shifted and moved in your body. So our focus has been on changing our perspective. And the events in the world around us probably has been asking us to do that, to see things differently, to do things differently. And we didn't ask for this, that it is what it is. We can't really control what's happening around us. Of course, we can control our reaction to it. So just like in the movie that I was talking about earlier this evening, when the teacher asks the students to stand on their chair and see the world from a different perspective, we are being asked to do that now. And so one of the principles of yoga is santosha, contentment. How do we be content when the world around us feels a little bit crazy, in all honesty? How do we find santosha? Contentment is not the fulfillment of what you want. It is the realization of how much you already have. What do you already have? Most of us
have all of our basic needs already met. Most of us have a warm place to sleep at night. We have food and water, security, family and friends. So perhaps our contentment comes with realizing how much we already have. And again, I recognize that that is a challenge with what's going on right now. It's hard not to think about what we've lost. It's hard not to think about where my next paycheck will come from. How will I survive? Will I be able to get everything that I need? But we already have so much. Yoga says santosha, contentment, is a mental decision, a moral choice, a practice observance. To practice contentment is to change our perspective, to see things differently, to realize that we have enough, we are enough right now in this moment. So to change your perspective today, instead of focusing on what you don't have, instead of comparing what you have to what others have, instead of getting stuck in thinking you don't have enough, that you need more whatever stuff, more toilet paper, more whatever. Can we instead step into what we already have? Can we change our perspective and be content in this moment? Can we see the gift in this struggle? Can we be open to the abundance that we already have? So you're welcome to stay in your final resting pose, your Shavasana, as long as you need to feel totally content. But I will close out our practice and our time here tonight. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all know peace. May our words, thoughts, and actions contribute to that peace in some way. And may we recognize the gift of contentment, santosha. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much. Much gratitude for you coming and practicing with me here online for SunWater Spa. I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday night until we can come back to live practice in our studio. Patiently waiting that day, as I know you all are as well. Have a great rest of your evening. Feel free to leave comments, suggestions. If you want to work on something in particular, I'm happy to incorporate that in the practice. Have a great night. Thanks, everyone.